The restaurant went silent. Every eye turned toward the pregnant woman standing near the counter, soaked, humiliated, and trembling. A glass of water dripped from her hair onto her swollen belly. And the young waiter who'd just thrown it? He froze, realizing far too late who she was. It was one of those quiet afternoons in a small-town diner just off Route 66, the kind of place where bikers, truckers, and travelers all crossed paths. Emily had been driving for hours. 7 months pregnant, she just wanted something simple, a warm meal, a place to rest, and maybe, for a few minutes, to forget the ache in her back. Her husband, Jack, was on the road with his motorcycle club, the Iron Saints. They weren't your typical rough crowd. They rode to raise money for veterans and kids' hospitals. Jack always said, "We ride for those who can't stand anymore." That was Jack, the kind of man who fixed strangers' cars on highways and brought food to families after storms. So when Emily entered the diner wearing his old leather jacket, the big Iron Saints patch on the back, she wasn't thinking about how it might look. She just wanted pie and coffee. But not everyone saw her that way. At a corner booth, a few customers whispered. The young waiter, barely in his 20s, nervous and new, glanced her way with uncertainty. He'd been having a terrible day, his rent overdue, his boss yelling, his shift dragging. And when Emily asked politely for decaf coffee and extra napkins, his irritation boiled over. "Lady, you can't just walk in here with that jacket," he snapped. "This is a family place." Emily blinked, confused. "Excuse me?" He rolled his eyes. "We don't need troublemakers or biker gangs here. People like you scare customers off." Before she could respond, the manager shouted something from the kitchen, and in his frustration, the waiter grabbed a glass of water meant for another table and tossed it toward her. The crash echoed. The room fell silent. The look on her face, a mix of shock and heartbreak, was something he'd never forget. Emily didn't shout. She didn't curse. She just looked down, wiped her face with a napkin, and whispered, "I was just thirsty." Then she turned and quietly walked out. 2 hours later, the diner windows began to tremble. Engines, loud, deep, and unrelenting, rolled up the dusty road. One by one, black and chrome bikes lined the parking lot like a fleet of steel horses. The Iron Saints had arrived. Jack stepped off his Harley, tall, broad, with weathered hands and a gaze that could turn steel soft. The other bikers followed, removing their helmets in silence. They weren't here to make noise. They were here for answers. Inside, the same waiter froze again, the color draining from his face. Jack held up a photo, Emily smiling, her belly round, holding a milkshake. "She came here earlier," Jack said quietly. 7 months pregnant. Wearing my jacket. You see her?" The waiter stammered. I didn't know, I thought she was." Jack stepped closer. The room could feel the tension in the air. But instead of anger, Jack's voice broke into something else, disappointment. "You thought she was less than you. Because of a jacket." He took a breath, trying to calm the shaking in his hands. "Do you know why my wife wears that jacket? Because it makes her feel close to me when I'm gone. Every stitch on it belongs to someone we helped, a vet, a widow, a kid who got a second chance. That patch stands for something you don't understand yet, family." The waiter lowered his head, tears forming. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I was just angry, and I took it out on her. I didn't mean." Jack's voice softened. "Son, everyone's fighting something. But hurting someone else doesn't ease your own pain." Then, to everyone's shock, Jack pulled out his wallet and placed a few $100s on the counter. "This is for your rent. You look like a kid who's trying. Use it right." A week later, Emily returned to the diner. This time, the waiter met her at the door, holding a bouquet of wildflowers and a slice of homemade pie. He'd kept his job, and with Jack's help, started volunteering at the local shelter. He even had a small Iron Saints pin on his apron, a gift from Emily. "You wear it," she told him, smiling. "Not because you're one of us, but because you chose to become better than you were." And as she left that day, The other customers didn't see a biker's wife, they saw kindness wearing leather. The waiter's lip trembled. "Why are you helping me?" Jack smiled faintly. "Because that's what my wife would have done,"